Okay, so for some reason our review skips from 7 to 10, so we'll just go with it the way it's written. So let's look at 10. We want a researcher obtains the weights of 20 male patients with lung cancer, and they're all listed there. We want to create a dot plot, a stem and leaf diagram, and a histogram for this data. Alright, so let's start with that dot plot. Now, I'm going to use paint, and I don't really draw very well here on the computer screen, so bear with me. Let me move this over a little bit. So realize to do a dot plot, we want to draw a line, and ideally it will be straight. Mine is not very straight on here. And we want tick marks, and they should be the same distance apart, and we should be going up by the same increments. And I used my increments of 10 since these weights start at 120 and go to 250. And they're not perfect because, of course, I'm drawing up here and trying to draw with my mouse. But you get the idea. All right, now, if we go through and mark all of our different weights, so let's see, we have 180 pounds, so I'm going to make a dot above the 180, and then I'm going to do 144, and approximately in here somewhere, and I want it about the same height as the first dot I put on there. I'm not going to be perfect on this little computer screen. 138. Somewhere right in here. Let's see, 142 is going to be to the left of the 144. 150. $194 is going to be somewhere right in here. 250 way over there. 133 somewhere in here. 120 down here at the very end. 139 somewhere right about there. 144. Now, did we have a 144 before? Yes, we did. So that's going to go directly above the other 144. 140. It's right in here. And of course, since I'm kind of close together here, they're kind of running together. 152. Ideally, we don't want them running together, but it's a little bit hard to draw on the computer. 163. 149. And let's see, did we already have a 149? No, it does not seem so. We had a 139. 155. 160. 172. 141. Which is in there. Let's see, is that this? No, that's a distinct one, so we don't need it above the other. And finally 121. And there's our dot plot. Okay, as unpretty as that one is. All right, now we're also asked to do a stem and leaf diagram. So I'm going to use Excel just to keep my column straight. And let me move this over here because we have this data. Here's the data. All right, now notice the smallest was 120 and the highest was 250. So I'm going to use 2 digits as my stem, and so since the smallest is 120, I'm going to use the 1 and the 2 as the stem, and then I have to go up by 1 each time until I get to the 250. Now some of these will not have anything behind them. Now let's go ahead and put the last digit behind each one. So 180, we're going to put a 0 behind the 18. 144, we're going to put a 4. 150, put a 0 behind the 5. 194, going to put a 4 here. 250. Put a 0 behind the 25. 133, 3 here, 120, 0 here, 139. Now I've already got something behind the 13, so I'll just go ahead and put that in the next box to indicate another one. Let's see, 139, 144. Again, I've already got a 144, but I have to put a second one because we have more than one. 140 will be in the same place, so we'll have a third one there. 152 is going to be after the 0. 163 doesn't have anything behind the 16 yet. 149. 155, well, that's another one behind the 15. 160, 16, 0. And 172, 141, and 121. Now, I'm not quite done with this stem and leaf because we want the digits of our leaves to be in order. So let's notice the 12 and the 120 and 121. That's already in order. 0 and 1, 3 and 9's in order, but this one's not. So we need 0, 1, 4, 4, 9. So 0, 1, 4, 4, 9. And if you're good at doing it, you can put these in order as you go. 0, 2, 5 is in order. This needs to be 0 and then 3. And then these are all fine. Now, realize you do not want to put zeros behind these that have no entries. Otherwise, it will look like there's a 200, a 210, a 220, a 230, and a 240. So there it is. And this is also what our histogram, if we turn it on its side, should look like. It should be very similar to this one here, where there's a large amount at number 14, or at the 140 to 150 level of weight there. And there's not really anything in here. So we're going to do the histogram now. All right, and so to do that, I'm going to go up top and let me expand my window so you can see. And I'm going to do a histogram. Where'd my histogram go? All right, so I have to highlight my data to make my histogram actually show up and not be whited out. All right, so if I highlight my data, over here is my little histogram sign. So we're going to go ahead and put a histogram in there. Now, of course, it doesn't look like our nice little stem and leaf, but we're going to make it look like that because we're going to change these little headings down here. So if we click on that, you can't see it now, so let me move it over. On the right side of the screen, I can now change my bin width. Now, we'll change our bin width to 10 instead of to 37. And then the number of bins is going to be the same we had when we did our stem and leaf. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 bins. So I'm going to change my number of bins. Well, it made it 13, which is perfectly okay. And it would have to be because it's between 12 and 13, between 13 and 14. So one less than what I counted there. And there's our histogram. Now you'll notice that histogram looks exactly like that stem and leaf turned on its side because there's 2 items under the 120 category. It's right here. There's 2 items here. The 130 to 140 has thrown, looks like the 0 in there. And it's also perhaps thrown in, I don't know, it seems to be throwing in an extra. Maybe when I went through, I missed one right here. That's what I'm guessing happened. And then here we have from 140 to 150 and so on. And so it has the same shape as this one over here. And so there we've got it. Okay, so just going back for a second, when we had 4 right here under the 13, it looks like I actually missed an 8 and I don't see another one. I think maybe it's putting the okay, it looks like I actually missed an entry in the 13 and the 14, so I went back and fixed those for you, which will coincide with what's over here. It looks like it's putting 140 into both bins right here. So we have a little bit of overlap right there. All right, so let's go to number 11. And number 11 says find the mean, mode, median, and the standard deviation for the set of data, let me move this over, 12, 34, 18, 48, and 11. All right, now I have put this data into Excel over here. All right, and I have put it in order. That's so that we can find the median more quickly. Remember, if there is an odd number of data, the median is just right there in the middle. So our median is 18. All right, to find our mean and our standard deviation, we will use the stuff that Excel allows us, the formulas here in Excel. However, for the mode, they are all the same, so really we can either list all of them or just say no mode, because there's really not one that has more frequency than the others. So, since they're all different, we really don't have a mode. All right, so let's go to our mean, though. We're going to use equal, average, and we're going to tell it, this is in C1 to C5. And our mean is 24.6. Now let's do the standard deviation. So we're going to do equal, stand-dev, and we're going to assume that this is a sample. It might have been a population, but I didn't really tell you there. So C1 to C5. And so that standard deviation is 15.99375. All right, so let's go back to my review sheet. All right, so I am running out of time on this video, so we will turn this one off and start numbers 12, 13, and 14 on the next video.